Hi everyone, welcome back to Still Khmer. For this episode, we have a very special plan, which is to roast all of your favorite artists, except for Vanda, because we will get canceled if we do that. So, Julie, what do you have for us?
You know what's funny? I right before this, I got an email inviting me to karaoke with some friends, so it's exciting. And you know how Khmer people feel about karaoke, or honestly, all Asian people in general. Yeah, you know, when I was growing up, my dad used to collect a lot of karaoke DVDs, and we would go to like Lowell and like probably like Revere and stuff to the Khmer like video stores, and like he had a whole collection. It was crazy. And so um he liked to like put on Khmer music a lot. So I grew up with that in the background, which was nice. So what are some of your favorite Khmer artists?
I'm gonna date myself by telling you by answering this question, but I love like old school Khmer songs. So I love
Mhm.
like Sensi Samot. If I wanna listen to something that makes my soul like happy, or like if I want to be reminded of the days where I traveled around the country to check up on health centers with my great aunts, I listen to those old school songs. Sensi Samot is always going to be, you know, on the playlist.
Mhm.
But like maybe a more modern artist would be like Peep Sawat, because I
Mhm.
grew up listening to him a lot. Um, but I actually was introduced to Wanda by Julie. And also recently, when I went back to Cambodia, my niece was singing his song, and she was like, "Don't you know this song? Like, he's very popular in the West." And I had to sit there and like shamefully say, "I do not know." And that's why I asked both Tita and Julie to make this episode to really like honestly educate me about the scene, the music scene
Oh
in
my
Cambodia.
gosh.
Yeah.
I feel like we could start from the very beginning. As Bori mentioned, there is the classic artists from the golden age, like Sensi Samot, Rosarai Satia, Bainron. Um, but unfortunately, I think a lot of those singers were killed during the Khmer Rouge era. And so in the decades since then, I think well, in the decades since then, Cambodia has been rebuilding in like a lot of different ways, but also in terms of like um, culture and art and things like that. And so I feel like when I was growing up, the big thing was that a lot of Khmer songs would also be like covers of songs from other languages and things like that. So that was a problem that we kind of had where there wasn't like a lot of original music, or there wasn't like space or resources for original songwriting to happen, I guess. But I'm not sure when this was founded, like a couple years ago. A Cambodian American, Laura Mam, went back to Cambodia and established Moramay Productions with the mission of creating original Khmer music and encouraging artists who are seeking to do that. And so one of the artists that's under Maramay is Vanda, and he's been a huge hit, not just in Cambodia but also like abroad with the rest of the Cambodian diaspora. So
Thank you, Julie. I definitely did not know like most of that information. So, thank you.
yeah.
Well, I do want to say, like, it's not like during the time period after the Khmer Rouge and before Vanda, there was zero original music being produced because
Hmm.
there were, like, lots of songwriting still going on. But I think it was
Hmm.
hard for something to like become popular or like to really stick with the general public, you know? Like a lot of the songs that you
Hmm.
would hear even sort of older singers like sing, like Neuvenade or Him Sivon and stuff, they're still choosing to sing
Hmm.
songs from Sangkum, like before the Khmer Rouge. So basically
Hmm.
songs that were originated from like Sensi Samud or Rosari's Tio. But yeah, like original music, I guess at that time came from Hongmi a little bit, but also a little bit from like rock production. I love rock
Mhm.
production. They're gone now, but their artists at the time were like really talented and like they could rap and they could sing and they could dance and they did these songs called like Motanet Piaptia Khmer and stuff like that. And that was original and that was really great, but obviously not as popular as Vanda is now. So, Julie, educate us.
Hello, this is Julie from about a month or so in the future. I just wanted to jump in and give a disclaimer. The first song that I talk about, I don't really think it's necessarily the best, most genuine representation of Vanda as an artist. It doesn't really show off his lyrical prowess. Honestly, I picked this lyric because I found it really funny. Um, he has some lyrics that are pretty hilarious, comedic, and then he has other ones that are more meaningful, like I mentioned later, his song Mama. So you'll just have to check him out and see for yourself if you enjoy his music. But if you find this lyric silly, I think it is supposed to be silly.
Yeah. So I thought a good thing we could do to introduce the concept of Vanda to Bori is share some iconic lyrics. Tina, do you mind doing a dramatic reading?
Yeah, do you want to share screen?
Oh, I texted it to you.
Okay. The first set of lyrics is from Coda by Vanda, and it says, Be clacky how own. Bad? Be clacky how bong. Huh? Sorry. Be clacky how ah. Anh ta cũng phiền ở nâng một đòn. What does that even mean? Sorry, I shrieked in the middle of the reading because I thought it was so funny.
I thought yeah, no, that was good. That was your genuine reaction. I probably should have included the next line where he says, "Give respect, get respect back," because I think like that part of the song is about like obviously respecting each other. Um, yeah, I don't really have much more to say, but that made me laugh. I thought that was funny.
Are
Um,
you gonna translate? Are you gonna interpret what it means?
oh, sorry. So Beklake how own. We sort of talked about the word own before. Like it's a way of referring to someone that's younger than you, and it can also be used as like a term of endearment. And we also talked about how it's typically used towards women, but obviously Vanda is a man, so it's used here in terms of like he's younger than some people. And then bong because he's older than some people, or like people are showing him respect by calling him bong. And then hao á, anh tét cà phê ngà nâng mà đòn. It's like talking about how it's like disrespectful to call people like ass something before their name because that's like really informal and casual. Um, it's definitely not happened to me. No, just kidding.
Oh my god.
This is not targeted to my cousin. No. Okay. Um, but yeah, so he's trying to make the point like, we got to respect each other. Don't call me ah if you don't know me like that,
Mm.
especially if you're younger.
What do you think like the lyric? I feel like for me that this is my first time like hearing this. So the only song I know of Wanda is Time to Rise. Don't kill me if I say
Yeah.
the name. Yeah. But
No, that's right.
anyways, so this is my first time. My genuine reaction is that I was speechless, but then I kind of respect that. But I'm trying, I feel like the sentiment is appealing to I can see the sentiment being like relatable or like appreciated by the Western audience. Um, and maybe like the younger generation in Cambodia, and maybe that's why he's so popular. Yeah.
I would like to backpedal.
What?
I was just sharing funny lyrics, not serious ones. I
Oh
feel
my
like that's a
God.
bad way to start. Like, I
Wait,
feel like
no, I
I
think
should
it's
open with
fine.
like good lyrics. No, because I feel like it's like a weird way to like present him.
I think it's an accurate way of presenting him. It's like a mix of.
No, but like, cause he has like what, like, is it his song Mama? It's 7 minutes long and it's about the sacrifices of your parents and like what you owe them. So I feel like he talks about more than just slapping people. Um, and
But
then
no, he
like
has
Bori
range.
mentioned,
He has
yeah,
range.
he has
He has
range.
range.
Like Bori said, he has the song Time to Rise, which I think is the first song of his that I heard. Um, it came out, I think, a couple years ago.
You introduced that song to me,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. I don't remember how I found it. Okay, so his first song that I had heard was, like Bori mentioned, Time to Rise, because I think that was really big when it came out. And it features Lokru Kong Nai. And the concept of that song really resonated with me because it talks about like looking back on the achievements of our culture and our community and then building upon that and moving forward into the future. And it just carries like a big sense of pride in being Khmer and Khmer culture, which I think was really nice to see because I'm not really personally aware of like many other songs that like did that. So I don't know. It's just a song that I admired and I think is a feel good song for the whole community.
I also was hooked when I first listened to it because he incorporated traditional Khmer instruments into
Mm-hmm.
the song. And I hadn't heard that sound in so long because
Mm-hmm.
I've just been living in the US, and so it was really like nostalgic, but it also it was really refreshing because
Mm-hmm.
it's a different sound than like the music that I usually listen to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He also has a song called Khmer Blood, which is similar. Um, Tida is giving a heart sign right now. It's similar in concept to Time to Rise, I think, because it talks about like taking pride in Khmer heritage and all of the difficult things that we've gone through. And there's actually a lyric that I might want to pull up, but it'll take me a second. By the way, I am illiterate, so everyone should be proud of me for what I'm doing right now. Oh my god, Bori, this part is for you. He says, Chim Khmer inside me, anxiety.
No, we see the buffet.
Yes, rap it.
No, I think that.
Oh,
Oh no,
เขาไง
no.
เขาไงเขาไงពូជខ្មែរអ្នកខ្លាំងបើអ្នកឯងចង់ប្រឆាំងដូចអ្នកឯងដើរមិនរួចទេ or something like that.
Oh.
Wait, I can send a screenshot.
Oh, it says like Team Khmer inside me anxiety ដួសវាស៊ីរបស់ Faye ពូជខ្មែរអ្នកខ្លាំងបើអ្នកឯងចង់ប្រឆាំងដោយអ្នកឯងនោះធ្វើមិនរួចទេ Oh, so like okay, so you said he has like Khmer blood inside of him, and if you want to like fight or oppose that, the likes of you wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah, tell him, Vanda.
Like you saying like we've been through a lot and so that has made us strong and resilient and you wouldn't be able to do that. I think that's like a nice perspective because I feel like I don't know, for me at least growing up like in the US, Cambodian Americans are normally seen as like poor and like we're uneducated and all of that. But when you think about it, like our families went through a lot to get to where we are today. So we should be proud of it instead of like embarrassed or something about like the fact that it's difficult for us to achieve things.
Mm-hmm. And I really like how the song starts because he's like ខ្ញុំប្រៀបធៀបមេឃដោយកន្សែងបាំងកាយប្រៀបធៀបទឹកដោយវត្ថុឆើតឆាយខ្ញុំប្រៀបធៀបភ្នំទៅជាការតស៊ូប្រៀបធៀបដីដូចជាភ្នែកទាំងគូថាខ្ញុំមើលឃើញព្រៃឲ្យអារម្មណ៍ខ្ញុំមូល He's like looking at the nature and like all of the things that we have in Cambodia and being like I'm comparing this to you know, like my eyes or like I I can't translate this actually. So I just like how the song starts. Just go listen to My Blood by Vanda.
It's a good song. It's a good song.
No, I have a question. Why do you guys like him so much beyond like my observation earlier? Like that, is it because like his lyrics are relatable to both like, Western audience, like
Mhm.
I guess Khmer people in the West and like younger generation of Khmer people? Is that why like you guys like him, and is that why you think he's so popular?
Um, I think like for me as an American, his music is like the most accessible, or I guess like the style is a lot more similar to like Western music. And I honestly don't know that many other artists of this generation, I think.
You know, we were talking about those like Hangmi artists who were really popular in like the early 2000s, early 2010s too, maybe. And you know, they're like Piyub Savat, or I should say it more formally, like Piyub Savat, Cameras Raimon, Sukun Liza, Oksukun Kenya, Miss Oksupia, you know, those artists, really popular. I guess like now I feel like they've passed their peak, right? But they're in a way still clinging on to their fame. And I say it in like such a negative
Oh my
way,
god.
but no, it's like they go and like become judges on like The Voice Cambodia or like Cambodian Idol. They make their money by like being, you know, social media influencers and like coming out with really hip songs. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're not that talented. This is the roasted part. Like I think like when they judge people on The Voice or like on Cambodian Idol, I feel like some of the contestants sing even better than them. You know? Like they have more talent than the coaches do. Some people with real talent but who maybe like don't look very handsome or like very pretty or whatever get eliminated in the first round because they don't think you have like star potential or whatever, and it's very messed up. And like some of the comments that they give to contestants outright, they're just like, you started the song wrong, so it's like, oh my god, like I literally cringe every time I hear them talk because I think they're being like unduly mean and arrogant, and I like them as artists and as singers, but then again, they're not the they're not all that, you know?
No, but Tita, I was gonna say that what you were just saying about the way that they use their words and stuff, it reminded me of a discussion with Lisa about how like she thinks that we're all too nice. And that like makes us American nice because in Cambodia, I think people just don't mince their words. I think it's really rare for people to speak politely and nicely, which is so upsetting. And like, I don't know if I said this during the episode where I came back from Cambodia and like shared my photos and stuff, but um like prior to that episode, we had talked to Lisa, and I was like, I don't know what Lisa is talking about, kinda. But then I went back, and then it like it's basically confirmed what Lisa told us. Like it is true. Like Cambodian people don't really mince their words, and I was just the whole time while I was in Cambodia, I was like, wow, like Tita's and her family, they're like the odds one out because no one else say like nice things
Lol.
like that.
Yeah, and it's like weird to me. I don't know. Like whenever I listen, like this contestant was like ousted in the first episode or like the first round of like Beat the Judge, which is a new show apparently. And he was just like, I thought I did really well and I thought I had potential. Like maybe I wasn't perfect, but that's why I went on like a singing show to like get coached and to like, you know, realize what I can do and stuff like that. But he got eliminated. Whereas like other people who were better looking or something but didn't have as much talent were able to pass on to the next round. And I watched that episode, and sure, he wasn't like amazing, but he did have potential, and it sounded like he had a lot of experience singing already, so it wasn't going to be hard for like the judges to hone his talent or whatever. But like the judges, especially like, I realize they're people and I'm like talking shit about people, and I apologize in advance, but these are my like honest feelings. I just don't think you should be speaking to anyone in this manner. Like Chance Van Riet, like he said some really mean things. And like there was no sandwiching or mincing of words. He was just like, you lacked balance and you lacked like, it sounded like you were fighting your own voice when you were like trying to climb this high note. And there was no compliment in his feedback. And I don't know, I just think like Khmer is such a beautiful language and like such a formal language, and you could be like using it in a much nicer way, because I don't know why, but insults hurt more in Khmer than they do in English. And yeah, I think like the contestant cried after that because he was like, wow, like I really thought I was gonna pass, but the judges were being mean. Julie, you're making an
Sorry, I'm so shocked. I'm astonished because I Googled him and I was like, that's that one guy whose song I really liked for years.
Chance Van Riet, really?
What
I think
song?
so. I don't remember what it's called. Let me just.
No,
If I
but
sing it,
Tida,
will you know? It was
Maybe.
really hot in Cambodia.
Maybe.
It's
sing
really
it, sing it,
intense.
sing it, sing it.
Okay. It's like Tôi tại một chim hiên tái hát vậy mình ai trên tới mong bàn rốt cuộc trong chụp tròn nừng và bị bàn nâng gió lên kia ăn niên tài.
I think so. I think I know. I think
Why are you
I've
whisper
heard of
singing,
yeah.
Julie?
I'm bad at singing in Khmer. Hôm đang đang ôn prap ong, có mình còn chừng khi bru ong, có mình còn chừng có mình trong khơi khuôn nắng tam sương xa kê, mình nhạt nhạt tình
Wait,
mê
yes.
mê, song chân chư chăm. Ready. Som bài nó cho song nó tưng, nè chân sông vang pram I on thai kê. Okay, do you know that song?
Why did you cut
Yes.
it short? It was
Oh my god,
so good.
this is not, the listeners cannot see this, but Tida was vibing, and it gives me like a preview if we ever get together for like a karaoke night. And I don't sing, and I don't like karaoke because I don't
I'll
sing, but at least
perform.
I know I'll have fun because I know that they'll perform, and then Tida will dance to Julie.
I will sing too. Just coming up with a whole scenario. You better get your choreo ready.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, what was the
wait,
point
no,
of that?
I know that song, Julie.
That was a really
The
good
point-
song back in the day.
Yeah.
And I can't believe he would betray me like this.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he says some like really rude things, and I don't know. I think
He's
he
like
should
a
just be
one-hit
nicer.
wonder.
Oh my god. No, I think like he
No.
actually was like part of Hong Mia and was like part of their like line of really famous singers and stuff. It's just a shame that
Okay,
he's
fair,
using
fair,
his
fair.
like position and influence in this manner, because like you should be uplifting people regardless of whether you think they should pass on to the next round. But
No, Tida, like I was gonna say too, I don't know why, but you know how like that episode where I showed pictures and like and shared my experience like during my time in Cambodia. I like, it was really weird, jarring for me to like think that like, oh my god, like this waiter, like he's such a nice guy and stuff. Like I could not imagine him like transforming into like these men. But then like someone said something about how like, oh, they have to act like nice like that because they're a waiter. And I was like, oh, okay, so the moment that you have some sort of power, then you just become a rude person in Cambodia. Is that what is being implied? Like, I don't know. And then what's really sad is that when people say nice things to me in Cambodia, I'm like, are they being fake right now, or like are they trying to say something or like trying to sugarcoat something? Like I don't know why I perceive niceness in Cambodia, like in Khmer, when people speak to me, as like they have some sort of like bad intention, or like they're fake. I don't know why, like I think of it like that. I when people, I mean, it hurts, like it definitely hurts, but I think because I grew up with people like that they don't mince their words, I just like expect that to be the norm.
Interesting.
And then if people like deviate from that, I'm like, interesting, are they trying to get something from me, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
But at the same time, like the fact that like this is like a public, like a show for people to watch, for younger generation to watch, I feel like they should model, they have the responsibility to model nice behavior.
Yeah.
Like hearing Tida mention it at first, it made me think about like what we were saying about gatekeeping. It gives me the same vibe. I don't really have further thoughts, but it gives me the same vibe.
Yeah.
Like they want to gatekeep the success or something
Absolutely.
so they can keep their power.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually true,
I think
but
it's
that's
true.
speculation.
It's not this one contestant and it's not this one show. I think it's a pattern of behavior like that people have been
Yeah.
noticing. Sometimes like the
Like in
people who win,
society.
yeah, the people who win like competitions and stuff like don't sing as well as like the second or third place singers do.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just a pattern of things. And again, I hate it when they're like, oh, this is like an international grade competition. Like, and it cannot antara. And it's like, guys, come on.
Because I was gonna say, I didn't know that Cambodia has The Voice.
Yeah, it's like a
What
version.
kind of
They
international?
definitely do.
They
yeah.
do. They have
Oh my
Cambodia
My
God.
dad
Idol.
watches it all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God. But I was also gonna say, like, if you criticize them or something, or like if you have the ball to do that while you're on stage, which I don't think would happen in
Right.
Cambodia because they're not Americans, you know. But if you were to talk back, they would be like, you don't know what you're talking about. I've been in this industry, like I've been in this industry for so long, and I know that like look sells, or I know what sells. So like you have to trust in my expertise. Like you can't, you know, like I feel like because also like the hierarchy thing, like you have to be respectful towards people that are like older or whatever. They use that, right? They would use that. Like there's no way that the contestant could argue their way or like trying to like advocate for themselves for like to be
Yeah.
respected as a normal human being. Well, not even normal. I feel like they're really brave to go on that
Yeah.
stage and sing in front of people. But I feel like there's no way. I don't anticipate them being able to like advocate for themselves in Cambodia.
Yeah, that's so true. Like seniority and experience is a lot in Khmer culture.
I know it isn't the same because I feel like this is a uniquely Khmer problem, but the thing about like looks sell and sometimes people who like don't have a lot of talent will still succeed in like the entertainment industry. It just reminds me of K-pop and the state of like K-pop
Yes,
now.
I was gonna say yes.
Like Produce 101 and shows like that, you know, like there are some contestants who make it to the top 12 who don't necessarily have like the best things to offer.
Oh my gosh. Now she's coming for Korea too.
No,
No,
meant
I was also
just
gonna
like
say,
is it an
I
Asian
was
thing, do you think? Or do you think this problem is a thing in like America too, where looks sell, sex sells?
I mean the
Probably.
Kardashians. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, it's a universal
Just like
problem.
entertainment can tend to be shallow. It's just across
Yeah.
the board.
Mhm.
I also had one other thing that I wanted to say related to I think what Bori said about where you were saying like do people just become mean when they make it big? And it made me think about like the wealthy in Cambodia. Like there's almost no consequences for them. And so I feel like
Yes.
that does something to the society and the way like the social dynamics where like there isn't really consequences for people who are part of like the powerful group. So
Mhm.
I don't know what else I was gonna say, but like
No, but that's really it's like it's a cognitive dissonance for me because my mom like she, when she was younger she went to like someone's house, and that person is like a wealthy person, and she observed the way that like she speaks to like her daughter and stuff like that, and she was like, oh my God, like, you know, my world opened up. Like I didn't know that people speak, I imagine what like how your mom speak to you, Tita. And my mom really actively tried to learn how to speak like that, and she speak like that most of the time with us, with her kids. And like to me, like she said, that's how the wealthy people speak. Like they speak really nicely and calmly and stuff like that. It's only people that are like bats and gum that like say nasty things to each other. But I like, in my opinion, when I go back to Cambodia, like that's not really the
Right, no.
case.
It's just
Mhm.
So
people's personalities are different, and like that reflects in how they speak. I think that's more fair because there are influencers now who are like really rich and wealthy, or maybe have like really wealthy parents, and they still speak sort of in a crass manner, but it comes off as like
Mhm.
funny.
yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I don't think like upper class people as a whole have like a better way of speaking or something.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I was having a conversation with a Khmer colleague recently, and she was saying something about how like the way that Khmer people speak now like it's just so different. It's not a music to your ear the way that like Khmer people speak in the past, because she was watching like some old interviews from like the back in the days, and people speak like it's different, and it's not like what you say is like I speak like formally. That's how people back in the day used to speak. That's how like news anchor back in the day used to speak, but like now news anchors don't speak like that anymore.
Interesting.
Well, I think I would say like this phenomenon is not like unique to Khmer, because I think
Yeah.
that people complain about that a lot with like English. Um, like in the US, I
Yeah.
think like people will sometimes like pull up old movie star interviews and also say like, "Oh, we used to sound so like classy and elegant and stuff like
Like
that."
transatlantic
Yeah, yeah.
accent
But I
thing.
think like
Yeah.
I guess it's also like the way that society as a whole has progressed too. Like things are a lot more casual in
Yeah.
modern day,
Mm-hmm.
even like how we
Yeah.
dress and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like it's very complex, but a interesting thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I brought it up was because maybe my mom had like maybe she has a point. Like maybe that was how like the wealthier people behaved in the past. Like maybe they have different distinct like speech pattern.
Mm,
But I don't think it created cognitive dissonance, because like what she told me back then doesn't really apply in the modern like nowadays,
mm,
especially when I like most recently went back to Cambodia, and I'm like, that's not true.
yeah.
The wealthy, like it doesn't matter if you're wealthy.
Yeah.
I also think like I feel like people tend to give the wealthy classes like the benefit of the doubt a lot, because I guess like
Mm,
subconsciously deep down we want to believe that that's like something we could be someday. I don't know if that
Mm.
makes sense.
Yep.
Like something we aspire to. And like normally I think about this in the context of like American politics and
Mm-hmm.
how like people can be very like pull yourself up by your bootstraps
Yeah.
and just get it done, because we
mm,
want to believe that that's possible
Yeah.
and that we have agency within the like system that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
um my brain is not fully working 'cause this was a difficult exam week, but like how that relates to this conversation is, I guess, I don't know, I feel like sometimes like people who are in the lower classes, we can like look down on ourselves and our peers,
mm.
because I don't know, like I don't know how to say it, like we romanticize the upper class, or we're like, oh, they have these good traits, because we want to believe that like maybe if we have these good traits too, like we will rise up in society, like very subconsciously. Like I don't think it's conscious.
Mm-hmm.
That's like something that's interesting, I think.
I was gonna say something to like this was like earlier in our conversation, but it's hard because like even if you want to like so for example like if you want to speak nicely to you, or you want to start speaking nicely to your family member, but like you're deviate like you that's not how you normally
Mm-hmm.
speak, so then they're gonna be like, that's so weird, like what's going on, and so then like you kind of just revert back. So like how do you even get out of that cycle of like I want to practice speaking nicer to people, but then like it's the norm to make fun of people who do that, or like for people who try to change, and like there's no like encouragement for people who are like trying to better themselves and try to like learn how to treat
Mm.
you nicer by like verbally saying nice affirming things to
Mm-hmm.
each other. Like I don't know. And also when I was like editing our episode, I was like, I can see Lisa's point about how like we're so nice, and maybe that's why it makes us American, like American, more American
Mm-hmm.
nice, because people just like take time to listen to each other. We're like, oh my God, so sorry. We like interrupt each other. This would not happen in a conversation in maybe in other circles, but like in Cambodia, definitely, I don't see this happening
Hmm.
in like my social groups. Does
Mhm.
that make
Mhm.
sense?
Well, before we recorded this, you know how I had a meeting with someone who I guess is an international student from Cambodia?
Yeah.
We were speaking, and I was like, do you want to speak in Khmer or English? Like, I can do either to sort of like accommodate the conversation. And she was like, oh, like, there are some things that you need to speak English for. Like, this conversation right now
Mm,
about like grad school and deciding on where to go and like financial considerations and stuff, like, better said in English because there are like certain things that only can be said in English. Whereas, like, in Khmer, you would be having like a different conversation. Like, you wouldn't probably even like touch on the
mm,
same topic, which relates back to what
yep.
Lisa was saying. Like, with her Khmer friends, like, she doesn't have these conversations and like she doesn't do the same activities even.
Yeah, you kind of just shoot the shit
That's
like in
interesting.
Cambodia, to
Yeah.
be honest. I also feel like it's more like I'm more introspective in English. I'm also encouraged to be introspective and like sharing my
Yeah.
thoughts. Whereas like in Cambodia, people thought it was weird to be like
Mm,
introspective because I think people just are okay and like think it's like people just think it's normal to just like joke around and have like
yeah.
shallow conversation and
Mm-hmm.
connection. But at the same time, like I really admire the fact that like they just, don't say that much to each other, but like they're also there for each
Yeah.
other.
Mhm.
If
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
needed, like if you want to go to the hospital or like if you need a ride somewhere,
Yeah.
they're like, okay, I'll go get you. But like that would not happen in the
Right.
US unless you have like some
Yeah.
soulful conversation
I
with each
Mhm.
agree.
other,
Yeah. I mean, the
right?
casual conversations and the casual stuff is like the basis of a very strong relationship. Like, people who are neighbors in
Mm.
Cambodia are like neighbors. Like, they talk to each other all the time. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they help each other out in emergencies and stuff like that. And whereas I feel like in the US, you sort of have to cultivate a relationship with your neighbors and be very intentional and like become
Uh-huh.
friends. And it
Yeah.
Yeah,
feels
it's
a little
more
bit forced.
isolated.
Yeah.
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 Like the Western culture, maybe just
Mm-hmm.
to me, but it encourages like I already overthink
Boring.
as a person. Like that's my personality trait, I
Uh,
think. But it encourages that even more. I like overthink even more, whereas like I don't catch myself overthinking that much in
yeah.
Cambodia. There's nothing to be overthinking about. I'm just gonna be like, gonna show up, this
Yeah.
is me, take it or
Yeah.
leave it. Whereas like here I feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna show up for
Yeah.
this thing, even if it's a casual thing. I'm like, how do I want to be perceived? Like la la la. It's just too much overthinking, and I don't know, like something to work on in therapy, but I don't know like how to like marry the two
Yeah.
identity, the identity I like embody when I go back to
Mm-hmm.
Cambodia versus like the identity that I was forced or learned to embody in the US. Like,
Mhm.
is there even a way to like marry the two identities, or
Yeah.
like that's just like I just have to have split
Like, code
personality?
switch
I've
all the time.
Yeah. Do you think it's because you immigrated to the US and like you had that adjustment period and like in some ways experienced some trauma related to the immigrant experience? And so that's why you might feel more hesitant or anxious like operating in America? Um, because I would say I think there are a lot of people in the US who could overthink more and they don't enough.
You're
Maybe.
overachieving, even in aspects
Like,
like
I
your
think you're
identity, Bori.
you're already a reflective person, and I think, like, maybe the experience and, like, how challenging it was to adapt to life here made you feel more careful about how you, like, carry yourself and stuff like that.
No, but in response to that, I was gonna say that like there are more things that being in America makes me like more chill about.
Mhm.
Um, like I really appreciate all the deep conversation about like anything that like, because I wouldn't there are things that I want to talk about that I had no one to talk about in Cambodia
Mhm.
because they don't operate
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mhm.
And like there are things like, showing up in to the airport in like sweatpants. That is not acceptable. Like in
Right.
Cambodia because I was told Like they're like, before you land, like just go to the bathroom and change into something
What?
nice quickly. Whereas like in America, I would just like, if I land in Florida or like somewhere, I will land in my sweatpants. Like I don't care, you
That's
know?
so
Like there's,
funny.
and I feel like every day that I wake up, maybe it's just my family, I don't know, but every day, like it's nice to wake up and like there's a rhythm to life and like there's a rhythm, like you have to dress up for the day. And I think that's just maybe kind of like Japanese culture, like you dress up to show respect for other people because you're like being in a society or something like that. And like that's nice, but like if you're in a depressive episode, like you just want to be in your sweatpants and you want to just go to grocery stores in your
Mm-hmm.
sweatpants. And I don't see myself being able to do that. Like I would just probably stay at
Yeah.
home and not leave because I won't be able to have the energy to like wear nice things to go out, you
Wait,
know?
I was gonna say, I felt like in Cambodia, people would just go to the market in their pajamas.
Maybe like not in my social circle then. I don't know.
Tori's
Okay, it was
like,
strangers too, okay? But I feel like people would wear like cutesy pajamas and just like be out and about. I don't know.
Yeah, that's yeah, I can yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
we're
still
just like
cutesy
vibing.
pajamas. Like it's not like kind of like, oh my God, you dress like a bum, like
Yeah, that's
going
true.
to a
It's not
market.
sweatpants. But I feel like
No.
it's like the same level of
casualness.
informality. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah,
Mm.
I don't really wear sweatpants
Like I know
anywhere.
people wear like sarong to like the
Yeah, yeah,
market,
yeah.
but like my great aunts and my grandma, like they never wear sarong. Like they wear saput bot and stuff like
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
to
wait, wait,
the
wait, hold
market.
on.
Like maybe
Whoa,
that's
what's
just their
happening?
thing.
Wait, what is sarong? Wait, hold
Yeah.
on. Not what is sarong, but what is the difference between sarong and sapotbat?
Sarong to me is like you just either you have like
Rubber.
With kasu,
Like
the
kusu.
kasu for like a
elastic
waistband, or
waist.
like
Oh.
you just wear like you just like
Yeah,
jong
yeah.
it, right? Whereas like support bot you like have actually like
Whoa, whoa,
toh
whoa,
and
whoa, whoa.
stuff.
I did
It's
Is
like
not
it a
know
bot.
people
different
just wore
fabric
that.
though?
It's very
It
different.
is yeah,
Is
different
it like the
fabrics
one
too,
that you wear
yes.
to temple?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like
Support
that's
bot
like
is yeah,
completely
yeah.
different. That's
Wait,
not
but
even the
no,
same
Yeah.
I know.
item of
No,
clothing.
it just like did not even register to me that people wore formal clothing like that to go to the market. Because I feel like, I don't know, I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever seen it.
It's
Jah
it's
tom,
hard to walk
maybe it's because
in.
It's
it's like
hard to
jah
walk
tom.
in, it's hard to breathe in, and it's not very
No, it's
secure.
not. It's not like whole. No. It's not whole pambuang. That's too expensive
Oh,
to
okay,
wear
okay,
to the
okay.
market. But it's still like I mean like support bought as in like it's the style.
The
It's the
same
same
I'm
style, but
so
style.
it's like
It's
the
ignorant.
more casual
different
fabric. I
fabrics.
think I know what you're talking
Yes,
about.
but
Idea.
it's not sarong because like sarong is like a
It's more
different
like a
fabric, and then
diamond
you also
fabric, and
yeah.
it's like less thick than
Yeah, it's
the
Wow.
less
other
thick.
one.
It's more casual.
Wow.
Like, but the
No,
sarong
I
is
get
like
what
you're
you
kind
mean
of
now, yeah.
it's not cut like it's sarong is just like you just it's you'll know the difference if you see sarong versus like support
So, yeah,
regular
I think
support.
like why I was so shocked is like I wear sarong every day. Sarong is like part of my pajamas. So it's like
Yes,
an old
exactly,
threadbare
exactly.
t-shirt and sarong,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
my nighttime outfit basically. Like after I've showered
Cute.
and like I'm clean and stuff like that, that's my pajama
Yeah.
set for the night. And like I wear sarong, like if I weren't working like during the day, I would have a daytime sarong.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
I want to
And
buy
like
more
Yeah, and
sarong.
people wear it to go
yeah, so
outside
that's the thing.
too.
I'm
It's
We
like
should
really
buy me some
afraid.
yeah.
sarongs
I'm so
from
afraid
Cambodia.
to like wear it outside because like I wear it in a way that's like not very secure, and I'm always redoing the tucking.
But that's the whole point of sarong. It's not that secure.
Why would I want to wear that outside?
Wait a minute. I have so many things I want to say. Okay. So, but isn't it annoying when you're sleeping and you're wearing sarong and then the sarong like folds up and it's like your legs are uncovered? Is that just me?
Oh, I think I'm just very meticulous about like laying out the sarong under my feet, under my
Oh,
legs, so and then drape over my legs and then pull the blanket over me, and then I don't
don't
really
you
toss and turn.
move?
I don't really toss
Oh,
and turn when I sleep. I'm just there.
so that's why I can't wear it to sleep because I like get annoyed that it's not doing its job of covering me.
That's funny.
And then I have like, oh wait, this is unrelated to the podcast, but I have this like skirt. Wait, I might have a picture. It is not a sarong, but then my dad puts it in the same mental category of sarong. And so my mom was like, "You wear that skirt outside." Like when I tried to wear that skirt outside, your dad made fun of me. He's like, "Why are you wearing like a sarong level skirt outside?"
Oh, interesting.
And it's not
Sarong is more
different
like
fabric.
airy.
There's an airiness.
Sarong is more airy to
Yeah,
me.
I
it
feel
is.
like
There's airiness to it.
okay, I'll show another time, but yeah.
I love that we end our episodes.
I like how we talked about barely two songs.
I was really confused by when you said like, well, I like the sentiment. I think it's an interesting thing to ponder about like some conversations we have in English and some conversations we have in Khmer. But then I was really confused because I was like, I still have those conversations in Khmer with my parents.
Oh, really?
But I think that's like the American in me,
Mm-hmm.
probably. So that's interesting.
I still have those the only people I ever had like those kind of like vulnerable conversation with that are
Mhm.
Cambodians are like my great aunts because she's
Mhm.
like my best friend. So that's why I didn't feel too suffocated when I was living in Cambodia. And then like my mom, because she's being Americanized, she's been in the US for so long now, she's able to like open up and have conversation that I didn't think like we would be able to have. And I don't know, but like I agree, I don't think she would be able to have that kind of conversation with like her Cambodian friend, for example, or like, but I
Yeah.
think maybe you can have that conversation with your parents because
It's like
they have been in the
cultural.
US for so
Yeah.
long.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
I think even like in the US, my mom like just knows people at like laundromats and grocery stores and stuff like that. And when they ask about how I'm doing, and like sometimes I'm literally right there, but they just ask my mom like, "How's your daughter?" And I'm like, "I'm right here."
Yeah.
My mom would be like, "Oh, có tới sra cho bab." Oh, my family calls me Guat, by the way. I know it's like weird. I know it can be
Oh,
like
yeah,
weird,
yeah.
but
No, I think that's like a new
so
thing
nice.
that people do now,
really,
yeah.
really? Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, and like when they ask my mom's like, "Oh, khám bấy đi qua thể hiện với nhau cho sra cho bab nhưng tơ how," like there are no like conversations about like money or like prestige or like financial considerations or anything like that. Like it's very like straightforward. It's like you say this thing and it's done with. Like there's no discussion basically, and I think that's really funny. It's like, was that all?
I kind of see that, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No oversharing.
no oversharing. Yeah.
And on that note, let's stop oversharing.
Thank you, Julie and Tita, for educating me and, making me, I feel a little bit more cultured now that I know a little bit more about the music scene in Cambodia. And also just like, thank you for being willing to like deviate from our chosen topic of the day and just like speak about, issues and things.
Issues and things.
Well, Tita needs to help her mom cook food, so we're gonna end the episode now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.